Well, hello there, random viewer. Welcome back. I'm Archie Stormcloud, and today's video is something a bit different from my normal content. I haven't made a commentary video in quite some time, but I have a few ideas on how to improve the overall vanilla DayZ experience and would genuinely enjoy your feedback. Before we begin, I, along with some of the most talented creators within the DayZ community, have already implemented a few of these ideas into mods and added them to our server for testing purposes. So if you'd like to try them out yourself, you can find the information in the description. I saved the best ideas for last since I need my viewer duration to be as high as possible so the algorithm stops humiliating me in front of my friends and loved ones. But don't worry, I added quirky music and sound effects to keep your ADHD addled brains entertained. We'll begin the list with Improvised Firearms, in a game so incredibly devoted to a realistic survival simulation, to such a degree that players must source each individual component to craft essential life-saving equipment and items, fire and hand drill kits for example. The ability to fabricate improvised firearms would make logical sense. With each update, certain items lose their significance and become obsolete, such as the pipe wrench and metal pipe. The opportunity to fashion, say, a slam-fire shotgun from a metal pipe and hacksaw would add an invaluable purpose for these aforementioned items to be collected by survivors. However, the game would likely be banned in Australia again. Another idea for improving the base rating, base defending, PvP, and the general do-it-yourself nature of the game is to add the ability to craft improvised explosive devices such as pipe bombs. Years ago, while mining the game files, I found an old concept model of a crude explosive device fashioned from a butane canister and a road flare. I did try to locate these files again online, but all I ended up with was my name likely on a domestic terrorism watch list. Improvised pipe bombs and shape charges could be constructed with batteries, shotgun shells, and pipe sections, lending yet another use to the metal pipe. Additionally, more variations of animal traps would contribute to a survivor's longevity and immersion. With the existing trapping and snaring mechanics, I would enjoy the ability to utilize more types of traps such as a coney bear to catch wild game like boar, wolves, and even foxes. Re-implement the foxes, please. These items could be baited with other snared games such as rabbits and landfowl to justify their yields. Trap a rabbit or a fish, attach it as bait, and potentially land a larger, more nutritionally rewarding creature. We all know the most common lamentation of beginner players in DayZ is the lack of food and their difficulties with locating it. While most of us have discovered means of sourcing food such as fishing and snaring, these methods do require locating elusive items, materials like metal wire and netting for example. My suggestion is to add the ability to craft traps from rope and sticks. Basket traps for land beasts such as chickens and hare, as well as basket traps for fish species. These could be baited with the same lures and snares as fish traps, providing early game survivors with an alternative to scrounging up crumbs from dead infected and entire boxes of cereal that give you almost no sustenance. With the addition of the vaulting mechanics and the almost limitless ability for players to parkour into advantageous positions, the addition of craftable bridges and ladders could be a game-changing improvement to DayZ's existing construction mechanics. These plank ladders could be used to access ledges too high to climb upon. One could even use them to access that barn lock we veteran players miss so much. Bridges could be used to close the gaps between watchtowers, rooftops, cliffs, or even buildings.
Wow!
Imagine the possibilities. With the plethora of vehicle wrecks in the world, it would be logical that a survivor could source an oil filter and convert it into an oil filter suppressor, a crude alternative to those elusive suppressors that seem to be DayZ's golden eggs. These filters would operate similarly to the plastic bottle suppressors, and we wouldn't have to sacrifice our duct tape and water bottle for a few infected head taps. Since there are no pet dogs in vanilla DayZ for the ATF to shoot, why not? Another addition to the game's environmental item spawn system would be medicinal plants. Working similarly to mushroom spawns, these medicinal herb and plant species would spawn in the forests and rural areas of the world. Survivors could seek, harvest, and process this vegetation into salves, teas, or oral remedies to cure or soothe the symptoms of digestive illnesses such as cholera and salmonellosis, as well as cough, sneezes, fever, and foggy eyes from colds and flus. Plants like plantain could even be processed and used to dress wounds and prevent infections. Picture this. You're starving and see a luscious, girthy zucchini through a window lying on a table. You lose all sense of control and burst through the door to this. How fucking terrifying would that be? In a game with such in-depth improvised anti-personnel traps, giving players the ability to attach sawn-off weapons to tripwire traps would fit in seamlessly. Just look at the selection the development team has given us to play with. I understand this mechanic would be somewhat overpowered. However, I have a solution. Make these traps cause fractures and bleeding. I mean, I can't remember the last time in my almost 8,000 hours since 6.3 that I've used a splint due to anything other than falling from an elevated position or a zombie breaking my leg. Years ago, I posted a concept I had for improvised body armor on Reddit, and the community went wild. Still many updates and a full release later, I've yet to see it implemented. In the old days, books provided protection from infected strikes, melee, and gunshots. Re-implementing books would be an immersive and useful addition and could balance the early life survivor experience. Plus, it just looks sick as f***. Although you'd probably still get one tap by a Mosin. Last but not least, ambulance crash pods. Much like dynamic police car spawns, these wrecks would contain valuable medical items such as those found in clinics, hospitals, and on first responder infected. Medic and patient infected would spawn alongside these wrecks. The available S1203 van model from the game's files could be used with some aesthetic modifications. I enjoy how rare it is to find medicinal items in the world, but it's very hard to stream this game when I'm sneezing, wheezing, and coughing for 2 hours because my survivor stepped in a puddle. I'm anxious to hear how you feel about these ideas and would love to hear some of your own. Leave them in the comments section below and let's discuss them. Or stop by my live streams here on YouTube every weekday and say hello. Go try these ideas out now on our server. The details are in the description. As always, a very special thank you to all of my subscribers and supporters from our community. Thanks for watching. I'm Archie Stormcloud. Stay alive and hail hydration.